Hello, pal. Welcome to my disaster. I'm Zava, and this is my show where I draw whatever the fuck I want and then commentate over a time lapse of it that you and I watch together. This piece of art that I am going to be making is a poster for the song Danny Don't You Know by Ninja Sex Party, which is a love letter from a current Dan Avidan to his younger self, and I love it very much, and it affected me very emotionally. I decided that I wanted to start out with Dan in a extreme power pose. I originally wanted to have him holding his guitar, but I take it out very quickly because I didn't want that clutter in the background. Arm anatomy is very hard. So is Dan's floofy hair and his entire face, which I struggled with for the entire duration of this piece. I eventually get it in the end, but for now, Dan just kind of looks a little bit wacky in the background, and you're just gonna kind of have to tolerate that he doesn't look quite human until about halfway through this video. I decided to keep his fist up like that. Again, I still thought it was a power pose, but I decided that it was either guitar or cape, and I'm not cutting the fucking cape. So here's me realizing that I neglected to record the entirety of the undersketch for Finn, who I wanted to have a kind of starstruck expression on his face. So I'm just kind of fucking with things here, realizing that I can't do anything about that and I'm not going to redraw it because it's fine. And then plotting out shapes for Centaur, Markiplier, Ninja Brian holding some bananas, and Sad Dan's Birthday Aaron. These are all the undersketches. I wanted to go more chibi for characters further in the background, and then a little bit more detailed and almost surrealistically cartoonish in the foreground. I hope that's not proper English, I don't think. I'm trying to sound like I have a large vocabulary, but I don't. Brian was very difficult to draw. You can see the silhouette is kind of mixing, and I was distressed at this point in time because I couldn't figure out how to get Mark's arm in there, so I just had to completely redo Brian, and that was a tragedy. I think I tried to draw him poking out from behind Mark and then realized that that was stupid and dumb and would look lazy. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here, and it just looks lazy. So I decided to just move him over and have him holding those awful bananas. And then there's me fucking up the symbol on his shirt and not knowing what to do with text. And then realizing it doesn't matter. Going into line art head first with Finn's luscious lashes, giving him, as I said before, this kind of starstruck look, as if he is looking at an older version of himself, who is riding a centaur and is a rock star and is badass. The double lines look bad right now. When I color the line art later, it'll look a little bit better. The mouth looks good for Finn, so I assumed that it would look good for Dan too. You'll see in a moment that it does not. It looks awful and horrible, and I wish I had never done it. Me struggling with his flannel up here, but yeah, now it's Dan time, and I struggled so much with Dan's face shape. I didn't want him to look like a child, but I wanted his makeup to be pronounced. Yeah, those are bad teeth. It just looks like there's nothing in there. He has more than 4 teeth, and I wish I had shown that in the earlier line art. Further, going into arm anatomy, I had a reference. I drew this beautiful hand, and then I immediately covered up with his cape. I'm honestly extremely surprised by how well I did those hands. And then we get into the spandex outfit. And I don't like drawing body hair, it makes me really uncomfortable. The bows were fun. I had a hard time with the line art and the coloring of them. It stressed me out and made me very angry. But the body hair was definitely kind of the part where I was just like, huh, I don't really want to be drawing this right now. Like, as a lesbian, I don't really want to be drawing this right now. But I did, and it turned out fine. We're continuing with some dope sneakers, which I got the colors slightly off, but I was so tired by the end of this drawing, and when I realized that the colors were off, that I just couldn't give any less of a fuck. But you'll see that later. Me drawing in his cape, I will go over with another brush. I wanted the fur trim on his cape to have a very pronounced texture because I'm going to be going in with as dramatic lighting as I could possibly draw. I wanted Ninja Brian to look just kind of like a shadow and not really define his figure as far as his costume. You can see me struggling with bananas here. Bananas are a bitch to draw. I will go back to those later with my line art when I shouldn't be. You'll see me fixing little bits and pieces everywhere as I'm coloring and as I'm coloring line art. Here's me further fucking up the images on his outfit and the character. I will fix that later. I don't know where this came from, but I pulled a beautiful centaur mark absolutely out of my ass. He just looks like a wonderful anime girl on the head with a nice beard. He's really fucking ripped, and then he's got this nice horse body to walk around with, and I realized that the horse body is, oh, this is when Sai crashed, yeah. And then this is the next day, I think. I will go back to Horsemark, yes. I fixed the logos. Yes, here's me fixing Horsemark, fixing the bananas. Horsemark is disproportionate, but Aaron's in front of him, so it doesn't matter that much. Here's me coloring in Finn's hair. It kind of looks like a mess until I color the line art because there's a lot of black going on. See, the mouth looks fine here, but it's supposed to have a little bit more color than it currently does, and the eye shine, yeah, I go in and color the eye shines, and those look much better. I went in with a layer at 50% opacity for the hair over the eyes on both Dan and Finn, because I didn't want to get rid of the effect that I was doing for the eyes. Here is me drawing Dan. I went for all one color of blue for his outfit in the beginning, which was a mistake. I should have originally done a different color for the cape, because there's some really bad spots. I insisted on doing my coloring in the most arduous way possible, so there are a few white spots in there, little ants crawling around. You will see, you can't see it in this video, but I looked up at my monitor about at this point, and there were white dots right here, white dots in Aaron's eyes that weren't on my drawing, and it was completely terrifying. I'll insert the footage right here. So that was after the first crash. That was the second instance of this drawing being completely fucking haunted. So I'm coloring the shoelaces. Not doing great. Those are very messy lines, and I wish I had done better with them, but it's okay. Here I am going in, trying to figure out how I'm going to do the dragons for our friend Brian over here. I forget the bruises on the bananas for quite a while, but I do come in clutch at the end and manage to fix them. I'm not coloring the ends of the bananas because I want them to be black, because that's how bananas look. And then I'm coloring all of Mark, even though most of him is going to be covered by the other people in this shot, or in this poster. I'm going to color all of him anyways, because he's beautifully cursed, and I think he deserves to be at least somewhat completed. Sad birthday, Aaron. I gave him the new pinkish reddish streak in his hair. I think his facial hair is a little bit too dense, and I wish I had gone back and fixed that, but I'm not going to be bothered at this point in time. Color and line art for Aaron. I got a little bit lazy with the background line art coloring, but adding facial details, freckles for Finn. This is when I start going absolutely insane in the foreground, and I go really intense with the blush and the lighting and detailing on these characters so that I can make them seem more immersed in the background. I actually have a reference up that you can't see on the screen right now for Danny's star on his shirt, so that's how I'm pulling that shit off. And here I am going in with a cloudy brush, I think, and just covering all of this line art and then erasing the stuff that would be further in the front. And then I have this cool little trim. I wanted to go in and define Danny's face a little bit more because, oh boy, it was just looking bad. So I added some makeup, and then I decided I wanted to add hair details to the both of them. So I went in and did that, and now Danny's looking a little bit better. Oh, again, the body hair. I struggled with it. It made me uncomfortable. I disliked it the whole time, but it was fine. The microphone, don't like orbs. I'm lazy with orbs. That's all. Color in that nice party hat, and then again, drawing the bottom part of Mark, even though I don't need to. Now here is me dealing with the title for this poster. And I had so much trouble with this title. I went through so many renditions of it, and I didn't really find something that I really liked until the end. But the font does stay like that. The colors will shift very slightly over and over again. I wanted to do a gradient like in the music video. Pink was used to represent Finn or younger Danny, and blue was used to represent older Danny. So I wanted to go with I fucked up the colors there because I'm blind. I wanted to go with a blue in the back and pink from the front kind of lighting, and which meant I had to put 2 light sources on Danny, 1 on Finn, and 1 on each of the characters in the back. And that took a while. I wasn't too pleased with it for a long... Here's me fixing Danny's mouth after I realized it was disgusting, but the spandex looks good. I'm making Ninja Brian look all shiny and blue. Mark looks horrifying for a moment here. He looks all oily and scary, and I will fix him in a moment. Yeah, he will be fixed. His mouth won't be bright white. Here's me putting some anime eye shines in every character's eyes. And just trying to go in with some white detailing there. So, at this point in time, I was having trouble with Sai. Sai was being a bitch. And I was almost completely out of memory, so I went on a journey to make it easier for me to save my memory. Meaning I detailed the characters each a little bit more, and then I saved each of them as separate files, which you can see me doing here, including their shading and lighting, and then pasted them all into a fresh image, a fresh drawing in Sai. And that didn't really fix the memory issues because I wanted to go further and do more. So there was still stuff going on. I had to delete all the layers and shit. Here I'm trying to do a weird cloud thing connecting the 2 of them. It didn't look good. So I went back in and I decided to do clouds. Just normal clouds instead of weird snake clouds. And I went in with very, very dramatic lighting for the pink, and then I changed it to screen so it looked a little bit more natural. Me fixing Mark, making him in the balloon, which is now translucent, so it fits with the ambiance a little bit better. Me fucking with that title more, trying to figure out how I want it to look with the background, and messing with the blue lighting. I had so much trouble with this title. I had to redo the pink shading on this title so many fucking times because I couldn't make it look good. But I managed to figure it out, which you'll see in a sec, and I think it looks okay. It takes a few tries. It takes me a few attempts. But I managed to get through it, and you can see beautiful Markiplier looking like that anime babe down there. Yeah, I finally managed to get it, and it looks kind of dope. And I'm going back in, doing some more highlights, some more lighting. I went in with shading for purple. I don't think I shaded the front 2 characters, but I went in with purple in the back. And yeah, that's the poster. That's the poster done. I'm very proud of it. It is a labor of love. I poured so much love and happiness and pain. It was a very cursed drawing. There were so many things that I had to fix as I went through, so many things that in under layers I wasn't satisfied with, and I had to go back and recolor. But in the end, I managed to get it to a point where I really, really loved it, and I'm super proud of myself for that. So thank you for coming along with me on this disastrous adventure and watching as I made this poster, which, I don't know, if you put it down in the comments. I might decide to sell this on Redbubble because it's Redbubble worthy, at least, I think. But anyway, that's it. I will be making more videos of this kind, as well as Minecraft videos in the future. So if you want to hear my voice and my dumb art, you want to see my dumb art with your eyes in the future, subscribe to me, maybe? Yeah. Have a good day. Please remember to wash your hands. Don't forget to wash your hands. It's really bad to not wash your hands. We're in the middle of a pandemic right